The marketing company claims that it actually is listening to your phone and smart speakers to target ads. Now, a quick piece of context for those who don't know, who may be new here. Up until now, there is actually no evidence that phones do that. It's a rumor that keeps going around, and they even say this in the article, because targeted advertising has become so freaking good that it's almost like it's reading your mind.
And also, like on that note, some people have actually tried to analyze and do legitimate research. It's not just a speculation. People have done actual research trying to prove that phones collect microphone data when you don't know about them, and it uses it for targeting, and there's just no evidence for it. We don't have the evidence for it.
No evidence. Sounds more like Surveillance Report is cherry-picking their evidence, just like they do with Apple's shady history. There are multiple news and research articles going back as far as 2015. Even TheHatedOne did an entire video on the subject with included sources. You remember sources. Those things you didn't provide in order to back up your claim that this isn't a real threat.
I was going to mention that. They've done studies where they put an Android and an iPhone in a room and they Wireshark them. And, unless the phones are like converting everything into text and then sending text files, but even then, what if it gets the transcription wrong? It's really not an efficient way of doing things. But anyways, getting back on topic, up till now, no evidence, but now we have this new company. So this is a marketing team with Cox Media Group who claims that it has the ability to listen to ambient conversations of consumers through the embedded microphones in smartphones, smart TVs, and other devices to gather data and use it to target ads. They call it active listening, and they claim that the capability can identify potential customers based on casual conversations in real time. According to 404 Media, it is not immediately clear if the capability CMG is advertising and claims works is being used on devices in the market today, but the company notes, quote, a marketing technique fit for the future available today, unquote. 404 also found a representative of the company on LinkedIn explicitly asking people who are interested to contact them about the product. One marketing professional pitched by CMG on the text said a CMG representative explained the prices of the service to them, which I don't think the article linked. The website says, what would it mean for your business if you could target potential clients who are actively discussing their need for your services in their day-to-day conversations? No, it's not a Black Mirror episode. It's voice data, and CMG has the capabilities to use it to your business advantage, unquote. Clients can claim a territory where they want to use CMG's services, which are available in a 10 or 20 mile radius, according to the website. After setup, quote, active listening begins and is analyzed via AI to detect pertinent conversations via smartphones, smart TVs, and other devices, unquote. CMG also claims that it installs a tracking pixel on its client's website to monitor the return on investment. With an audience created, CMG then delivers adverts to people through streaming TV, streaming audio, display ads, YouTube, and Google and Bing search, the website says. Neither CMG nor Cox Communications responded to a request for comment. 404 outlines several ways they attempted to get a hold of these people, and in none of these instances were they successful in getting someone to respond and answer questions. So, like the article said, we don't know if this is currently on the market or if this is something that's like coming soon. I know you have thoughts on this one.
I don't have many thoughts.
That's your problem. You lack any thought to what you push onto viewers.
I'll just share along my theory here, which is I don't think they actually have this capability for smartphones. I think that their marketing is very clever because we see this a lot with kind of misleading services that claim to be able to do massive surveillance. And then when you actually get into the nitty gritty, it makes sense how they do it, but it is a little bit of hype and a little bit of extra marketing. I just don't know what technological way they would be able to accomplish this because smartphones aren't designed in a way where the microphone can just be turned on in the background.
And now that you say that out loud, that does, now that I'm kind of thinking about it a little more, I think you're right. Because number one, I mean, not to be difficult and pedantic, but the microphone could be turned on in the background, but that's usually like a really advanced spyware capability. Like Pegasus or something like that. And number two, that begs the question of how are they turning on and accessing the microphone in the first place? Like, is that a feature they can inject into an app? But even then, if they're going to do that, like you said, like the app has to request microphone permissions.
Apps on your phone can listen for approximate audio beacons to track what you do and see. This method of tracking is usually completely permissionless and secret. You won't receive any notifications, and oftentimes you'll never know what apps on your phone or websites you visit have ultrasonic beacons or receivers in them.
You're right. This is raising a lot of questions.
I think it's BS. Not complete BS. I just think it's kind of marketing BS.
There's probably a kernel of truth in there somewhere.
Right. Like, I wouldn't be surprised because I think it has been shown that some smart TVs actually can collect microphone data and it's shared with third parties and whatnot. And then they also just generally say other devices. So if they can find any other device to gather data to target ads, then what they're saying is technically true. But again, I could totally be wrong. I don't think either of us are saying we know what's going on here.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
That's not what you both said at the start of the story.
up until now, there is actually no evidence that phones do that. It's a rumor that keeps going around. And they even say this in the article because targeted advertising has become so freaking good that it's almost like it's reading your mind.
And also, like on that note, some people have actually tried to analyze and do legitimate research. It's not just a speculation. People have done actual research trying to prove that phones collect microphone data when you don't know about them, and it uses it for targeting, and there's just no evidence for it. We don't have the evidence for it.
So not only are you spreading disinformation about cross-device tracking, but now you're contradicting yourselves from earlier. You either know the story or you don't. And if you don't, then you shouldn't be commenting on the topic, especially when you don't provide any solid evidence outside of vague references to sources you were too lazy to include.
I fight for the users.